Today we are going to learn how to create a new file using Office 365 and our Microsoft OneDrive for Business. To begin, we have to log in to Office 365. Best way to do that is go to the How ISD homepage, click Email. Now it'll bring you to the Office 365 login screen. At this point, we need to type in our email address for howisd.net. Then we'll type our email password. I'm going to go ahead and click Sign In. And I now get signed in to my Office 365 email account. I'm going to go ahead and tell it not to remember my password. Now this is where you would normally come to get your email. There's a lot of other things you can do now that our email is hosted on Office 365. You've already learned in a previous tutorial about your OneDrive for Business. So we're going to go ahead and click on OneDrive. You'll notice if I hover my mouse over it, it actually pops up and says Go to OneDrive for Business. I'll click on OneDrive. At this point, I'm now inside my How ISD OneDrive for Business. If I haven't ever created any files or uploaded any files, my Explorer or File Explorer for OneDrive is going to be fairly empty. By default, we have a section called Documents, which is where we are right now. And in that area is where we're going to be creating most of our documents. You'll notice there is one folder that everyone gets. It's called Share with Everyone. We're going to talk about that in a later tutorial. But for now, I just want to create a new file. To do so, I'm going to go to the top link bar and I'm going to click on New. When I do, it's going to ask me to create or choose a new file type. We can create a Word document, an Excel workbook, a PowerPoint presentation, a OneNote notebook, an Excel survey, or we can create a new folder. At this point, since I have no new files, I'm just going to go ahead and choose a Word document. Once I click on the Word document option, it will create a new Word document for me, and by default, will put me into the Office 365 Word Online Editor. This is a fairly simplified version of Microsoft Word that's available online to anyone that has an Office 365 account. So at this point, I'm ready to start creating my new file. I'm going to go ahead and type a couple of sentences in. Now that I have my file created, you'll notice that at the top, there are some basic tools that I can use to format this file online. Of course, I can highlight certain parts of the text or the entire text if I want, and I can change my font. I can change my font size a couple of different ways. I can change the color of the font. I could highlight some of the font. I can even do things like justify by aligning to the left, center, or right, adding a bulleted list, or adding a numbered list. Among some other things, most of these tools should look fairly familiar if you're familiar with Microsoft Word. Now I even have the option to open this document, which I'm creating right now online through a web browser. I can actually open it in Microsoft Word. We're going to save that for another tutorial. So at this point, I'm finished creating my new file and I'm actually ready to save. Now, the great thing about Microsoft Office 365 is when you create a file using Word Online, you don't actually have to save it. But let's go to the File menu anyways. You'll notice under the File menu, we have the normal options that you would normally have. We can create a new file. We can open an existing file. We can save as. We can print. We can share. We're going to go ahead and choose Save As, just so I can show you that with Microsoft Word Online, there is no Save button. So there is no Save button because we are automatically saving our document. Or, in our case, Word is automatically saving our document into our OneDrive for Business. So at this point, if I'm finished, I can just simply click this button. It's going to tell me the same thing basically again. I'll click OK, and my file is already saved. I didn't actually have to go to the File menu. I just wanted to show you that step. I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button in my browser, and you'll notice that that will take me back to my OneDrive for Business. Now at this point, you can see that about a minute ago, I created a new file. There's a couple of ways that I know that it's a new file. One, because it doesn't really have a name, and two, because it has this little green asterisk beside it that stands for new. Now, I may not want to call this file document because every time I create a new document, it's going to get a similar name. So I really want to name this file. It's easy to do. We're simply going to move our mouse just to the left of the file name, and we're going to click once, and that's going to select our file. We know it's selected because it has a blue check mark in front of it, and it's highlighted. At this point, we're going to go up to the top link bar, and we're going to click Manage. For Manage, there's several things that we can do, but since we just want to rename the file, we're going to choose Edit Properties. From the Edit Properties screen, you're going to notice that the name that it was given by default, Document, can easily be edited. So I'm going to click in the box and remove the word document. And now I'm going to give it a different name. So I'm just going to call this one Online File. And you'll notice that it has a Microsoft Word file extension, a docx file extension. And I'll go ahead and I'll hit Save. Once I've saved the file, it's going to take me back to the File Explorer for my OneDrive. And you're now going to notice that my file has the name that I've just given it. So that's how you create a new file in Microsoft's Office 365 in your OneDrive.